to talk about action on the field, speaking of, maybe teams waiting in the wings and that, the Rossies are definitely waiting in the wings for Mayo, I'd say. A difficult situation for Mayo, win the league title last Sunday, playing a Connacht quarter-final against, their old rivals, and a team, a county who's beaten them the 3 times they've won the league. The last 3 times they've won the league, the Rossies have beaten them in the championship. So they'll definitely be on guard. That's going to be a fascinating game.
It is. I'm going to it as well, Michael. I can't wait. There's a couple of funny wee stats there. Like the last time Mayo beat Galway in a league final was in 2001, and we all know what happened that September.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of funny wee stats there, depending on how superstitious you might be. Would you be into piss oaks at all?
Yeah, piss dogs. I'd be waving at magpies like Jack O'Connor.
No, all joking aside, like, it's an ideal situation for Roscommon, really, because Mayo have been in the spotlight for the last week or so, going up, winning the league. I know, in fairness to Kevin McStay, the champagne was on ice. There was no lap of honour. They took a few photos with the trophy on the field after the game, and they went straight into the changing room. None of the Mayo players even spoke to us in the print media down outside the dressing rooms.
You were down trying to hover up a few bits and pieces like I would have been myself. But that's probably... it's not ideal for us, but it's probably they're trying to just move on, aren't they? They've got. Listen, I don't. They shouldn't be put in that position, in my opinion. But they're trying to move on and just try and They're trying to put all their focus back on whatever. Basically, they don't want everybody telling them how great they are, and they just want to move on to the game this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and just having a week to prepare. Like, sure, it's so difficult. Like, that's a big switch to kind of flick. Because especially the fact that they were playing Galway at Croke Park as well, they just wanted to go and win that game and focus on this Sunday. But you asked me about the Rossies. It is a great situation for them because they're nearly coming in under the radar. Like, they consolidated their league position very, very early. David Burke has obviously got a serious kick in them, like, after maybe things kind of fizzled out for them a wee bit last year. I actually haven't seen Roscommon in the flesh. I always try and use the league to kind of see as many teams as you can in the flesh. I actually didn't get to see Roscommon once, so I'm kind of limited in terms of what I can say about them, because you're just restricted to kind of Sunday game clips and whatnot. But he seems to have gotten a lot out of Enda Smith, which kind of coincides with what Kevin McStay is getting out of Aidan O'Shea in terms of a big physical player really thriving in that environment. He just seems to be he seems to really galvanize the group, Davey. Like, he must be some manager, like, in fairness to him, and he's only so young as well. He's younger than me and you anyway.
He is. He's a year or two. Yeah. He's Davey's full of energy. He's all action, and when he's in something, he's 100% in. Like, I remember him saying, like, he's no issue, like, driving to watch gym sessions at 6:30 in the morning and stuff like this. He'd do anything, and I'd say he'd feel the call at any hour. I think he said he was at a children's party a couple of years ago. One of his kids were at, and he just had to go outside and take a call, and she was on the phone for about 45 minutes. He said he missed most of the party. Like, he's all in. Even he was involved with the Minute Sigerson as well at the time. But, like, he has really got them humming, and the way they had 3 wins on the board straight away, but even just to get a victory near the end of the league as well. It finished like it's gas. It finished Connacht 1-2-3 in Division 1. So while they started well, it didn't so much fizzle out, but at least they finished with a bit of a flourish, and now we're going into the championship kind of full, like, they're really full of optimism.
Yeah, and like to bury that yo-yo tag that they had in the league for so long, to bury that early as well, it must have been so important for them, just in terms of the mindset, and telling the group that we belong here in Division 1, we belong in 3rd place in the table, and they could have been in a league final so easily as well. Like, I think they finished on 8 points. Like, they would have absolutely ripped your hand off for that in the middle of January. Do you know what I mean? And I must say as well, bringing Mark McHugh as a coach was a very, very shrewd move. He was in with the Donegal Ladies footballers last year, and they had nothing but praise for him in terms of what he brought to the table, and his tactics and his drills on the training field as well. So, again, Mark's only 33 maybe max.
He'd be cut from the same cloth as Davey, I'd say, age-wise and stuff. They have the same kind of philosophies, I'd say.
He's just mad for road as well, and I'd imagine he's made a big difference and brought a real different dynamic to them as well. So it's lovely for them coming in under the radar. But I actually didn't realise until a couple of weeks ago the game was on at McHale Park. I thought it was on in the Hyde. So that's a big game changer as well. You could have 30,000 there on Sunday easily. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fantastic occasion. People are talking about the death knell for the provincial championships, but it might be the case in Leinster and Munster. But that game on Sunday now will be ding ding dong, and Galway are still in a lovely position as well. You have to remember, like they flew off to Portugal on Monday morning for a warm weather training camp. I'm sure they'll be back. I'm sure PJ will be there on Sunday bright and early to just sit back and take in what happens and see who they're going to play next. So Connacht's just so up in the air at the minute. Anything could happen. But yeah, Roscommon are in just a fantastic position, and they'll be going all gung-ho. Like, it'd be interesting to see how Mayo approach it. Are we going to see the same thing that we saw for them throughout the league in terms of that kicking game, and how are they going to deal with Aidan O'Shea? We were at the RT Championship launch yesterday, and we were talking to Lee Keegan, and he's just delighted with how Aidan O'Shea's form has taken fire, and he's got anytime anything went wrong for Mayo, he was just the target.
Oh yeah.
It's
an easy target. It's ridiculous, really. Yeah,
it's in all the papers. It's in all the papers this morning. We ran those quotes today. Anytime anything went wrong, Aidan was the scapegoat, even though there was 15, 20 lads who all would have taken part in matches. Like, Lee made a good point that it's probably because of his big personality and maybe his presence in social media and that, and he is the poster boy for Mayo GA, and he has been for the last 10 years or so. So maybe it's just easy to have a go at him. But like, I've been to 3 of Mayo games, and just as an outlet in terms of the style that they have now, it's just completely different for him, and just in there causing havoc at the edge of the square. And like, he's not scoring himself, but he's just an outlet for those boys around him, those lightning runners like Ryan O'Donoghue, James Carr, Killian O'Connor is going to be fit on Sunday as well. Tommy
he's a great
Gold,
foil, isn't he? He's a great foil, isn't he? Like, he's completely. It's like nearly Niall Quinn, Robbie Keane style job almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good comparison. Very interesting to see how Roscommon deal with him now. But they have a very good goalkeeper as well in Colm Lavin, so there'll be a lot of attention on the goalkeepers on Sunday, and especially in terms of how McStay has got a real find in Colm Reap, even though anyone who's been watching club football in Mayo over the last few years would have said that Reap should have been in there anyway, after one of those county titles with Knockmore. So, it's going to be fascinating. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'd say Mayo will still win by a couple of points, but Roscommon will take them right to the wire, and there'll be no whitewashes like we saw in, say, the 2017 quarterfinal replay or anything like that when McStay was Roscommon manager. So there's that tasty dynamic as well. So McStay will have a close relationship with a lot of those Roscommon players, and what he done with them will all be on their minds as well. And he lives here in Roscommon, and I live here in Roscommon now as well. I'm right across the road from Clonagale's pitch, and they're not getting too excited here, but I'd say they're happy with the way they're coming in nicely under the radar into Sunday.
Quick one for you. Any elements from Lee Keegan of, not regretting his retirement, but there's surely a part of him thinking, Jesus, like, it's okay missing all the winter training, but when you see what's going on and you see how flying, any element of that from him or any sense of that from him?
I actually asked him that, and he seems like a man who's completely made peace with his decision.
Because a lot of lads find it very hard to make peace with it.
Yeah, like, we were talking to David Tuberty as well, and he was, I wouldn't say he was nearly the opposite, but he said he was watching some of Clare's league games, and he was thinking at times going, oh God, maybe I could have made a difference there. Do you know what I mean? Like, the likes of the game they lost against Dublin and Croke Park, say, when they had a lead coming into the final 10 minutes and they ended up losing by a point. So, both of those lads will find it difficult this weekend because Championship's a different gravy, and Lee said that himself. But I think Lee's point was the fact that he's got a young family and that he's just got more of a presence at home now. He just seems to have really made peace with it in that sense. And, he was very complimentary in saying that, he didn't say it in black and white, but he seemed to say that if Mayo did do it, that he wouldn't feel like he was missing out or anything, because he would just be delighted for those older players like Aidan O'Shea, Kevin McLaughlin, Jason Doherty, Killian O'Connor, who've, and who've been soldiering there and were there from day one with him as well, and who are still going. I think he seemed to say that if they did do it, that he wouldn't feel disappointed for himself, but he would just be delighted for them. So that's just the mark of the man Lee Keegan is, and you know he's genuine when he says that, because he's just that sort of guy. So yeah, he seems very at peace with his decision, because it would have been thrown at him as well when you see Stephen Cluxton appearing again at 41. I know, it's different when it's a goalkeeper, but Keegan stuck a few big goals past Cluxton in all Ireland finals. So no, I don't think there's any chance of him reappearing now.
Some cracky did it, John Terry, for the final. Last couple of minutes or something like that. Got involved in celebrations or something like that.